I have to do more research. Thanks.
Hey, that's what we're here for, to
Enliven the people.
and enlighten them and make them do homework. But you
I
do have
said
email.
enliven. I said
Oh,
enliven.
enliven.
That was I think that. Well, it was an inside joke. I think that was an
Oh,
office joke. Did I get that from the office? I don't know. It's been a long day. I can't remember every bit of the office today, which
every
sucks.
bit of it.
Anywho, most of it, obviously, it's like ingrained in my bloodstream, but I think it's enliven, and I have to remember where. If you know where, listener, let me know, because I know it comes from somewhere.
3S FX presents the Indu Podcast with your host, T. Sterling Watson.
Good morning, Indubians. I'm T. Sterling Watson.
And I am Kortney, I guess.
This is the Indu Podcast. Thank you for stopping by and pressing play. This is March. I almost said every other month except March because I forgot what it was for a second. This is episode number 96. We are quickly approaching the big centennial. Wait, does that work for this? Sentient? No, that's not. That's a different word.
Centennial.
Okay.
Maybe centennial, I think. Right?
Centicast. I don't know.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm just making up words.
I don't know. Right. You're confusing me. And I'm the word person.
I know. Well, we're both word people. Word nerds. Word nerds for life. I hope you put up a gang sign just now.
I did. Sure. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Actually, the gang sign we probably would be using is something in sign language. So.
Right. Obviously.
Yeah.
So we can sign our words. Duh.
Exactly. Probably, yeah, either words or maybe some kind of letters or something. We'll figure that out. We'll work that out for the future. So yeah, how you been?
Pretty good, I would say. Can't really complain too much. And if I did, it wouldn't matter. So yeah,
well,
pretty good.
You know I'm listening. You know I care.
I know you care.
All right.
I know it.
Thank you.
I said, how are you?
Oh, okay. I am well. I was slightly distracted getting started with this particular show because I received some mail. I got Spider-Man Into the Spiderverse, which I had been patiently waiting for, so I can watch it on my Blu-ray.
Nice.
Yes,
awesome.
And I did the nerdiest thing ever, and you should probably already know what this is because I told you about it, and it's like one of the things I was having nerdgasms about telling you when you go see this movie, which I know you've seen it. And once I received the DVD in the mail, I ripped it open like a savage and then gently peeled off the plastic of, keeping the whatever. I'm skipping ahead to popping the Blu-ray into my player, and I hit play, then I hit pause and then play again so I can watch it frame by frame the very first minute when it shows you Columbia Pictures and Marvel and I think Pascal Pictures, but just the way that that's animated and just kind of how those titles or those company logos are all kind of going through the dimensions.
Yep.
I love it. And I'm going to say this now. This is already it's paid its price or I've got my money's worth already because in the Columbia Pictures, if you go frame by frame, where there's the torch lady,
torch lady. What's the torch lady?
Like at the beginning of Columbia Pictures, there's a lady standing with the torch. She's like holding her toga or whatever, and there's Columbia behind her, and there's clouds and everything. They replaced the lady with a banana.
Really?
For one frame, yes.
That is so great.
I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to. Of course, I'm going to watch it again. I'm going to pause it. I'm only going to send it to you. I'm not going to tweet it, not for like a while. It's going to be like one of those Easter eggs. And there's millions of them in this movie. And I mean, there's more than one Stan Lee cameo in this movie too, by the way, which I did not know.
Yeah, I didn't know that either.
Yeah, there's like at least 5 of them. So, and there's a special feature all about it.
5?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah,
Special feature on the Blu-ray?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Of course there's multiple Stan Lee cameos because they can easily just put him in there.
This is true. This is very true. And I mean, there's no way I think I would have been able to find them because like I wasn't even looking there. But they're talking about how there's so many Easter eggs in this, and
oh my gosh. I can't wait. Oh
yeah,
my gosh.
It's amazing. I'm over the moon, I suppose, if you take it back to some sayings when they used to say that. But I'm just nerding out, and let me calm down a little bit. No, I don't have to, because you know this is where my flag flies high and proud. So
right.
they did this for me. They're like, you know what? There is some 33-year-old boy out there who, you know, is going to love the things that we're doing in this. And here I am. So
nice.
Yes.
I'm so excited.
Yes. And you can rest assured that you'll probably be getting like random text message from me like, oh, look at this, or not look at this, but like, oh, they did this thing. And then you'd be like, oh, and it's probably just gonna make you jealous. And I apologize in advance. So
no apologies necessary.
I'm actually gonna I'll tell you off mic what I'm going to do. I'm gonna try to hook you up with something. So I'll tell you off mic with that.
Okay.
So yeah.
I am waiting with bated breath.
Yes. In the meantime, there is some sad news I do have to relay.
Okay.
I think it may have been, I don't think it was last episode. It was a few episodes ago. I talked about a way to combat stink bugs that I found online, how to set up a lamp that's like pointing down at a bowl of water. I'm wondering if I may have missed a couple steps because I substituted a bowl of water with a cup of water. But I did find it to be working because there was a stink bug who like arose from the ashes of wherever it came from. And it just, you know, started to terrorize me at first, but I'm like, nope, I have a plan. I turned on the stink bug light, turned off all the other lights, the TV. So all it was attracted to was, you know, the target. So the stink bug kind of just you know, bumbles its way and knocks itself into, you know, areas to get to where the light is, and then just kind of casually walks over and walks around checking out the place. Never actually makes it in the cup. So
jerk.
Yeah, a bit of a jerk. And then I'm like, you know, I can't sit around and do this all night because I actually have to go to work.
Yeah.
So I had to leave, came back home. The bug was nowhere to be found. It was not drowned in the cup. I decided to turn on some TV. And then it appeared on the TV. So I'm like, aha, there you are. So what I did, I got like a paper or something and I scooped it off the screen into the cup of water and then I put it back under the light. Rather than try to kill it, I'm just like, you know, I'm just going to put it in here and then maybe it'll drown. And then I'll just, you know, and I'll call it a win, but in quotation marks.
That and then works.
Yeah, but it's not where it ended because I came home to, you know, take a nap and then I woke up and it was gone. It crawled out of the cup.
Oh no.
Yeah, I don't know where it is now.
He outsmarted you, and he's probably gonna go tell all his buddies about you too.
Probably, because I thought because I watched for a while and you stopped moving, so I'm like, okay, you are drowned, you are dead, and I'm like, haha, I still won because you're no longer alive, terrorizing me. And I was wrong, and now it's out and loose, probably planning and plotting its vengeance. And like you said, just telling its other friends, like, now watch out. There is this cup. I don't know if they're colorblind, but the cup is red. So, and my mother even suggested, like, you know what, you should just get a bowl because that's what the original thing said to do.
Yeah, not a cup.
Yeah, not a cup. Maybe I filled it up too high, so he was able to actually grab some land. Maybe you're supposed to put soap in the water, or, you know,
I don't know,
something to make it a little more poisonous, I guess. I don't know. And I thought about that too, but I'm like, I feel like if I put it in now while you're still swimming around in it, that's like torture rather than you just falling into the trap.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know. I mean,
I've
heard ways like that of like trapping gnats because I love plants, and so in the summertime, like gnats become almost unbearable because they're everywhere. And so I know about these ways to trap them, and I'm just like, trapping them is one thing. I want to prevent them altogether. Haven't found that one out yet. So listeners, if you have any suggestions for keeping the gnats and the gnocieums away from me and my plants, please let me know.
Gnats and what?
Gnocieums.
No.
Stop laughing. That's a real thing. And
That's
I
the name
will
of
tell
a
you
bug?
why. No, yes, it's like a gnat, but it's a gnocieum. It's basically a gnat, but that's the thing that we say here in the South. It's just a gnocieum, like, because you see them, but they're like in your face and you can't really catch them, and so they're just a gnocieum.
I've never heard
shut
that
up.
before.
Well, now you have.
Oh wow, that's great. I should write that down. Where is my pen? Oh my god. Speaking of pens, I did buy a fidget pen, which I'm having a ball with. It literally has a rolly ball on it, and I almost lost the ball because it's magnetized and it got stuck to something else. But yeah, I just need to write that down before I forget the nosediums. That's great. I need to go. Like, that's the other thing now. I can't wait after this to go ask other people. Like I'll probably have to go track down my grandmother and ask her if she's heard of gnocieums. That's great. My mother especially, because you and her, you both share the thing about how much you love little tiny bugs and spiders and things. So
oh my gosh. And I'm seeing little 8-legged creatures a whole lot now that it's warming up and spring is like tomorrow. So, and it really is tomorrow, guys.
It is. Well, at the time of recording, yes.
At the time of recording, it is officially tomorrow, and so the little critters they're waking up and trying to come into my house, and I don't like that.
They want to watch Spider-Man with you.
Whatever.
Are you going to deny them the?
Yes, actually, yes. You don't even have to finish that. Yes, I am.
What if it's the number 42 spider thing that crawls down that gets smiles?
That's not my problem. You can't live here. There are many other houses to choose from. Choose that one and not this one. Thanks.
But you could have powers.
Thanks, comma management.
You could have powers.
No,
you don't want.
I don't want those powers. Nope. No, thank you.
But the venom sting, like you can be like, I don't know, you can be like slap, and then it really stings somebody because they're like electrocuted.
No, thank you.
I don't know why you'd be slapping. Well, I mean, I was gonna say I don't know why you'd be slapping anyone, but I mean, with the way the world is today, you can just go up like you are talking way too much and you're out of line and out of pocket, and just I'm tired of your nonsense, your massage. Oh, I can't even say the word now. Massage. Wow. I'm gonna skip to the next word. Your racism, your bigotry. You're talking down to me or women or black women, and there's just slap with venom. That's. See, now can you reconsider getting bitten by a okay.
Nope. No thanks.
All right. I mean,
nice try, but no.
Okay. As for an update for the last episode, when we listed all our things that we're petty about, just keeping track of one of the things that happens the most with us is the phone deaths. You've reported at least one to me. I've had 2 since the last episode we recorded. So premature phone deaths. That's the
better way to. Yes, that's better.
Right. And again, if you haven't heard last episode, it's regarding. I don't even want. I should tell you. You should just go listen. But no, it's regarding if your phone dies at like 30% or 40%, some ridiculously high number. And even when you texted me today, like one of the last texts you sent me, I had 30%. I'm like, oh no, I'm not sure if I should respond right now.
Because it might just die on you.
Just might die, and it's terrible. It's terrible. I have that fear, and it'll just drop down because maybe I listened to one song on Spotify, and then like, whew, that took a lot of energy. Phone, I don't get it. I do not get it. But I was also in the theater watching a motion picture, which we will be discussing a little later, because I don't know, this movie Captain Marvel, is it?
Captain Marvel, perhaps?
Marvel, that's what it is. Captain Marvel. Yeah, we're going to talk about that a little bit later. and juicy, gory details. So if you have not seen it yet, then we will definitely give the warning ahead of time before we get into it. So, but also, what are you waiting for?
Also, what are you waiting for? Like, literally get to it. Chop, chop.
Yeah, my parents, at the time of recording, they are watching it right now. So kudos to them. I was trying to hook them up with a A-list membership, but it was taking too long, and I had to keep bothering my dad about what email address and password, and like I'll just do it later. But at least he's coming aboard. I believe my sister and I have convinced him of its benefits, and I feel like I'm going on making a plug here for them, but I'm not getting paid. They're not a paid sponsor yet. But yeah, you should talking to listeners out there, you dear listener, dear Indubian, if you do not have an A-list membership, you should think about it. It's pretty good. I like it. I do.
Nice.
Yeah.
Do it. Listen to the man. Why don't you?
Yeah, I won't steer you wrong, especially when it comes to movies. I'll give my honest to goodness opinion, because it's not just about the movie sometimes. It's about the experience. So
you're right. Yeah.
And some of these AMC theaters have newer theaters like the Dolby Theater, which is I guess designed around Dolby systems and the pictures there, which it actually is. I really kind of thought about that as I was watching the movie or watching Captain Marvel again, and I'm like, you know what? That picture was clearer in the other theater.
Right?
Yeah, and plus the seats vibrate, so that's fun. And you kind of forget that it happens, and I mean, you're just so immersed in the movie, and I kind of lost that immersion at this time. Yeah, I didn't have my seat vibrating. The sound wasn't as booming, and the soft whispers, and Dolby. Yeah, get your A-list membership first, then go to the Dolby Theater because it's free for you, free for everything. So yes, that is my pitch for that. And I think the only other thing I would like to discuss and let the world know about are the snacks. I've been involving in some new snacks that they're just hitting the stores. There are Sun Puffs by the makers of Sun Chips. So go get that, especially if you like cheesy snacks like I do. These Sun Puffs are made with 4 cheeses. I was not entirely sure if this was true. I read the ingredients. I'm like, okay, 4 cheeses are there. So checks out. And it's very good. It's very satisfying.
Nice.
So go cop that. I almost bought all the bags because I bought 1 bag and my mother ate all of them. So yeah, I'm just not gonna let her live that down. And I literally only had 2, and then I'm like, here, try these, and then the bag disappeared. So
yikes.
Yeah, I came back the next day. I was like, did you take my Sun Chips or my Sun Puffs? And she was like, yes, I did. So I'm like, oh, okay. And I had to go get some more. So the other snack is our good friend Ben and Jerry's. They have a new cookie dough flavor or cookie core, and the core of the ice cream is sugar cookie, or sugar cookie dough, which is something I've been waiting for years. And I thank them for that. There's also cherry pieces in it, which I'm indifferent about. I'll still eat it. It's still good, but yeah. And there are no boulders of chocolate, as we discussed many episodes ago. So boulders of fudge, the ones that cut up your mouth, those aren't here. I'm happy about that. It's very it's very nice. It's good. So go snack happy.
Awesome. You're always the go-to guy. You're the plug for all things snacks. I know that.
I do what I can. I do try to venture out every once in a while, and then maybe I'll post something about what I've eaten. And sometimes I get a response, sometimes I don't, but that's okay. Sun Chips actually replied to me. They said, we're glad that you enjoy the Sun Puffs. So I'm like, thank you.
So you're famous now. Nice.
I guess I'm not famous enough where they'd be like, here, have another bag on us. They didn't do that.
Right. Yeah, we need to get you on that level.
I do. I mean, it only happened one time. They gave me a snack company gave me free samples of their snack, and then they stopped making that snack, and it was a really good snack.
Don't you hate when that happens?
I do. I really, really do. So Tino's pizza chips. If anyone has ever had them before, and I think I might have even had a worldwide search starting on this podcast looking for them until they finally did respond to me. I was like, yeah, we don't make those anymore, which broke my heart.
I don't think I've ever had those, but they sound delicious, and I'm really sad for you.
They were delicious, and I scoured the earth. I think I even enlisted you helping me at one point, seeing if you can
probably
in your local stores.
Maybe.
Sorry, I did not cry a little bit.
Did you cry? Oh, you're so sweet. Oh, it's so cute.
I mean, they somehow embraced the taste of pizza on a chip much better than some of these other floozies out here. Yeah, I'm talking about you.
Floozies.
Yeah. Okay. I like Pringles, but these beat Pringles, and Pringles aren't really a chip. They are a crisp. It says it on the can.
What's the difference between a chip and a crisp?
A potato crisp is like, I guess, potato mashed up and then made into a shape, whereas potato chips are thinly sliced potatoes that are fried. So
I never would have known that.
Yeah. See, I'm serious about my snacks. And you gotta know these things. The thing I still need to learn is how smart food popcorn is made so perfectly, like so round and perfect. Because you get the microwave stuff, you just get these jagged looking, crazy looking popcorns, and like it's not as complete as a smart food popcorn. I'm telling you, I'm serious about my snacks. Not that you don't already know. I'm just letting.
I totally know.
Yeah,
I totally get it.
As a foodie, I have my divisions, and today we're talking about snacks. Maybe next time we'll talk about salmon. So salmon is its own division. We've got fish, and then we have salmon, and then we have other proteins. So that's for another day. Another day we'll talk about breakfast, because that's a favorite food. Not a meal, it's just a favorite food, because all of it, pancakes, bacon, eggs, all of it. But for another day. So I think what we'll do now is we'll take a quick break. But when we return, I do have a Black History fact for you. And I do have, do I have Sheboygan news? Yes, I do have Sheboygan news. It's adorable, I think. It is adorable. And lastly, well, not lastly. Yeah, we've got some Spook'em Zone. It's not really spooky, though.
Oh, so Spook'ems that are not really Spook'em.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I don't want to make a new segment, but I just want to say space because it involves space. And you know how we feel about space. So
yes, it's out to kill us.
That too, it is. Oh my God, I really forgot to recommend Love, Death, and Robots on Netflix. Do check this out, or do check out that show. It is 18 animated shorts. And as you just said, Death is out to kill us, because I think I wanted to text or tweet you one of the stories. It's called Helping Hand.
Okay.
It'll give you the vibes of the movie Gravity. I'm not spoiling anything for you. Because I mean, it's already a short, but still. Yeah. If you, dear listener, have not watched it yet, just remember our conversation. And by the way, this is not for the faint of heart. These are shorts for adults, so make sure the kids are in bed. If you're squeamish, maybe not for you. If the occasional boob bothers you, it might not be for you. And vulgar
there
language.
Are boobs in this? What? Oh my gosh, I don't know.
Yeah, it's like if it's TVMA, like with bold capital underscore italicized MA. So, but I mean, all the stories, they're all great. They're all different. All the animation, for the most part, all the animation is different. Some of it looks like cutscenes from a video game, which isn't bad, but they're getting better with that uncanny valley, like escaping it. But it's still there. Yeah. So. Yeah. I've really got nothing bad to say about it, really, because they're all really good in their own rights, all stories. There's a few of them I don't care for, but they're all good.
Yeah.
So it's a high recommendation for me. But I think what we'll do, I think after you see it, we'll have like a special episode all about it and discuss each story.
Okay.
So
sounds good to me.
Yeah, it's a quick watch too. I think maybe 2 hours, maybe.
Yeah, because I think every episode was like 18 minutes or less.
Right. Because I think even the shortest ones maybe like 6 minutes, and if you're doing autoplay, it's like a whole minute shaved off for like credits. So
right.
Which I watch some of them because I'm like, who voiced that character? And okay, yes, we're gonna take a break, and then when we come back, our segments of the show right after this on the Indu Podcast.
The Indu Podcast.
Hey there, friend. Enjoying this podcast production? I bet your sweet buttery face you are. I bet you're also thinking, how can I support this show and look awesome doing it? Aside from telling your best pal and all their kin, you can head over to Indoob.com, and 2 clicks later, after hitting the store tab, you'll find yourself with several fun and fancy swag brought to you by the fine folks at the Indoob Network and T-Public. If you're a fan of Indoob, Food Fight, or anything under the Indoobian sun, you can find it plastered on mugs, hoodies, pillows, cases, bags, and of course, t-shirts. Hurry on over now, and you may catch a sale with all tees 30% off. Seriously, they have sales like every other week. So head on over to Indoob.com or tpublic.com. That's TEEPUBLIC.com and type Indoob in the search bar and continue to pod with the best. And we're back. I feel like I was falling.
Black History.
Black History. Black History. Black History.
Facts.
Our Black History fact for today. Have you ever watched the television program 227?
I have.
Oh, perfect. I have not, but I am very familiar with the show. Like, I'm aware of its existence. Except I did not know necessarily how it was born.
Mm-hmm.
I know last episode I kind of gave a teaser to this. I had thought that it was Marla Gibbs who had brought us the show, but she was just a starring character in the show. But she also did help bring the show to fruition, basically. It was created by or based off of a play written by Christine Houston, who is a playwright and a scriptwriter. She had worked on shows. In fact, she was the first African-American woman to be given a screen or TV writing credit for The Jeffersons. So,
oh, wow. I never knew that.
Yes. Because I was like, I know she's got to be a first at something. And that's what one of her first things are. But she wrote a play based on, I believe, her growing up in, I think it was in New York or Brooklyn, or Chicago. I think it was Chicago. Yes, Chicago. And her apartment was 227. So she wrote a play based on that. And I believe in her childhood. And Marla Gibbs actually, I think she saw one of the performances, and somehow they all got together and started shopping this around to television networks to make it a series. And sure enough, it became a series. It became a hit. It was around for quite a while.
Oh, wow. I never knew that.
Yeah.
That's pretty great.
And she is still with us. She's still doing, I believe she's still writing. I think she's got some, I didn't read all of everything that she was doing, but she's still basically working and doing things. I think mostly in Chicago, working in the theater department. Teaching. Yes, she's teaching communication, media, and theater at Chicago State University. So, also working on a novel as well. So, yeah,
nice.
She's staying busy.
Like fiction?
Yes, it's called Laughing Through the Tears, which is about a mourning wife losing her husband of many years and how he deals with it. So,
interesting. Sounds pretty good.
Yeah. Ooh, and she's also co-wrote a textbook called The Screenwriter's Guidebook: Learning from African American Film and Television Writers.
Oh, nice.
Wrote that with Christine List. So all you screenwriters out there looking to get into that, I would say take a look at that book. Sweet. It's kind of talking to me too. So I probably should look at that book.
Right, you should go get it.
So I've got some ideas just kind of piling up. People saying, "Hey, you should write a show." I'm like, yeah.
I thought you did write a show, or you started the treatment for one, right?
Yeah, I was supposed to. Right now, like, one of the main ideas is still on a bulletin board, just staring at me, like, "Hey, one of these days." And we've had a discussion how, or you and I mean, we've had a discussion how if we don't work on that thing or attack that idea, that it might just go away from us and someone else might grab a hold of it and run away with it. So
it happens.
It does. So I need to get on that once I make time for it. I was going to say once I have time, but nope, once I make time.
Right, because we rarely have the time. We always have to make the time.
Exactly.
Or most times have to make the time.
Exactly. And I'd say, for the most part, you and I have both been pretty successful at that because, I mean, you're getting other things done amidst having a busy day job. So, yeah, we do what we got to do, make things happen. So
Yeah.
I have no excuse why I can't at least write out a treatment. So.
No, and don't be so hard on yourself. Life is busy and it can be hard. And so we do have to be easy on ourselves, but we also need to not be too easy on ourselves to where we don't get anything done.
This is true. Like it's all about balance, and
right, exactly.
That's
actually my word for this season. Really, it's just balance. Making sure I don't even think I told you that, but just making sure that I take care of things and take care of myself, but not be too hard on myself as well. But it for real actually is balanced. So it's kind of interesting you said that.
Oh, look at that. Just
look at that. Sensating again.
Sensating as usual. And the other word that I've been using this year is recalibration, because it's just resetting myself. Like, okay, things got a little wonky back there. Let's kind of get ourselves back on track and get that balance. See, working it all together. See. Yeah. So, yeah. Balance, which is not always easy to do, but that's part of what life is all about. And rest. Make sure you get rest, because
that's important.
It has been. It is important, because that's a thing I felt that was lacking a little bit. Exhaustion is real. Stress is real. So,
and it'll take you down if you let it.
Yes, it will.
Or if you don't, or rather, if you don't harness it.
Right. If you don't rest, everything else will take you down, like the stress, the life. The life will take you down. Yes. So that was our motivational talk, our TED talk there on balance and recalibration and rest. And, so hope you took good notes. Up next, we have our Sheboygan news.
Good morning, Sheboygan.
Now, I decided to read this story instead of the other one I found, because I was like, oh, that's sad. It wasn't sad. It's because a bowling alley is closing after 30 years. So, but I'm going to read a happier one.
Oh, yeah.
This one, the headline is Sheboygan duck owner. No, I'm not even going to do that. I'm not going to do that. But you already know it's about ducks. So there's that.
Okay.
When Kelly Broats first got an egg incubator last year for her daughter's pet duck, she didn't know it would even work. But it did work, and the family has successfully brought almost a dozen ducks into the world. Oh, in fact, it worked so well that this past weekend, she says the unexpected happened. One of her eggs produced twin ducks.
Aw, yeah. How nice. They have automatic best friends. They're like born with their best friend.
Yes. This is a rare occasion with only a few reported cases from around the world of two ducklings surviving from one egg.
Interesting. I didn't know that was a rare thing.
Yeah, and I mean, once they kind of broke it down, and cause I never really thought about it that way, I was like, oh yeah, that's right. They would have to be in one egg. They wouldn't be two eggs just plopped out at the same time. That would make them twins.
That makes sense.
Yeah. The ducklings were born on March 2nd, Broat said. Initially, she saw the first duckling, orange-beaked Pip, pop his head out. The name is Pip. Popped his head out of the egg. A couple hours later, she said she came back and saw the duckling still struggling to get out of the shell, so she helped a little bit. As she was moving the shell, however, she noticed that it was a little heavier than usual. When she looked inside, she said she saw that there was another little duckling at the bottom. It turned out to be pink-beaked Squeak. So we have Pip and Squeak. Pip has a orange bill.
Pip, Squeak. It took a second, but I get it.
Yeah, it took a little while. Like,
I get it.
Hasn't responded
why
yet.
Pip and why Squeak? It's because they're twins. I get it. Okay, cool. We're on the same page now.
Right. And they both have different beak colors. So one is pink, the other one is orange. Now I do want to skip ahead because I want to talk about the other rare ones. In 2017, Nova and Scotia were born from one shell in Canada, and before that, Romulus and Remus were generally public as twin ducks born in the United Kingdom. So
wow,
I think that was both in 2017. So it's like, again, they're rare, and the only reason why I think they're noticing them because these are other duck owners of they keep these as pets.
Okay.
So if it happens in the wild, then we're not really privy to it because
it happens in the wild.
and normally
you don't track that as much, huh?
No, not really. Like they're not keeping tabs on it because the ducks that are here in our local park, I don't even know. Like, dude, they must lay eggs, but I don't know where they lay them. I haven't gone looking for them because I don't care. Sorry to be so glib about it, but I've had a interesting relationship with ducks in my past. Don't want to talk about it right now. We'll get into it another time.
Oh, is that a sore subject for you?
It used to be. I've kind of softened my shell about that, so it's not as painful. But in the future, I will tell the story of why I've been hardened to ducks and the fallout that came from that. So yeah, you know what? I think I'm gonna tell that story on the 100th episode.
Hey, so we should probably tune into that episode, right?
Probably should, because it will be streamed live. And if you are in the Connecticut area, then I can just come on out and hear it within, among friends.
Hey.
And might as well.
Nice.
I'll be there.
Yes.
Take pictures with me, who wouldn't want a picture with me? Come on. So so that was the ducks. I thought I had a word, but I do have a word, but I don't have it. I don't have the definition up, but I can do that right now.
Word watch.
Assuage is the word.
Ooh, that sounds really fancy.
It is to make less intense, usually like an unpleasant feeling, or to ease. But assuage. It was used not on me. I was proofreading somebody's not a paper or something. They wanted me to take a look at it because they're like, "Hey, you're good with words." So I'm like, "Yeah, I guess I am." So I saw this word. I'm like, "Ooh, what is this word? I've never seen or heard this word." I didn't know how to pronounce it until they pronounced it for me later, because looking at it, it's spelled Assuage, and I kind of wanted to call it a sausage because and there's a lot of the same letters in there. So I was a little, it's like, and trying to use it in a sentence. Let me see. I need to assuage these bad feelings. I don't know, but I would just say a sausage these bad feelings.
Oh my gosh.
That's what it looks like. An opportunity occurred to assuage her desires for knowledge. And in that instance, it means to satisfy or to fulfill or gratify. So, but yes.
Nice.
Assuage. That is your word for the day. That is the word we are watching. And hopefully it might start popping up in, I don't know, TV shows or movies.
Wishful thinking much, huh?
Sometimes it happens. Like whenever you look at a new, or maybe you know someone who's gotten a new car, or you get a new car, and now all of a sudden you start seeing that car everywhere. So maybe that might happen. It does happen. Yeah.
You're correct. It does happen.
Right. I'm just trying to make that happen for words. So now people just start using assuage for I want to say no reason, but I just learned this word. Now I'm seeing it. Everyone's using it. So I can dream.
You can.
But I think that's all of the segments. Oh, yes, I did have a space thing, but I'm going to take a quick break because this break will be sponsored by Chief, who apparently needs to leave my room. This
right now, I'm sure. He needs to do it right now.
He needs to leave right now because he's got food in a bowl that he needs to attend to. So he's very upset with me that I put a distance between him and his food. So I'm going to assuage the feeling that he has, or he's going to assuage his appetite with the food that's waiting for him. So with that, we will be right back to the new podcast.
The Indu Podcast.
Hey, dear listeners, just a gentle reminder that you can support the Indube Network by subscribing to the Indube Patreon at patreon.com/Indube.
But hold up, Sterling. I keep hearing about this website. What is Patreon?
So glad you asked. Patreon is a membership platform where subscribers can pay, fund, or donate to creators for content. In other words, if you subscribe for a small monthly fee, you can get bonus podcasts, reviews, videos, and just awesome extra goodies from the Indube Network.
So all that extra stuff we couldn't fit in this episode they're listening to right now will be on the Patreon?
Exactly, and so much more.
Oh, really? Well, where does my money go?
Well, podcasts cost money. Microphones, conferencing software, and host websites aren't free. So every little bit that a patron chips in helps produce the content they already love and enjoy. And for your contributions, based on how much you give per month, we'll unlock more perks to be enjoyed that are created specifically for patrons.
Okay, that sounds pretty good. So where do I go again?
Patreon.com/Indoob. Browse around. Some posts are free. Most are $1, but you're free to do more and you will get more. And we at the Indoob Network will certainly appreciate the help keeping the studio lights on.
That's for sure. And thank you to the patrons that are already supporting and enjoying all that extra bonus content. Like that one video where you did that one thing you said you wouldn't, couldn't, and shouldn't do.
Oh, I know. And I almost got killed to death trying to do it, but I did it and now it's done.
That was hilarious.
Good times.
Good times.
And we're back. I think Chief is so excited. This podcast is brought to you by Purina Dog Chow. I'm kidding, it's not. I've got a question for you, or maybe it's a question you've asked yourself, Kortney.
Mm-hmm.
If the universe is expanding, what is it expanding into?
More of itself, maybe?
It's actually pretty close.
That was a good answer, right?
Yeah, it was. That's just the title of this piece that I'm going to read to you. Sometimes really? It's the simplest question that the most complicated answers. What's the speed of dark? I mean, that question right there got just, I love it. What's the speed of dark? What happened before the Big Bang, which is a question I've heard before. And if the universe is expanding, what is it expanding into? The answer to that last question has a short answer and a long answer, but trust us when we say you're going to want the long answer. And since I've already read this, I do agree. There are more words in here that probably could be a word watch, but I'm just going to go with it. Here's the short answer. That question doesn't make sense. The universe is everything, so it isn't expanding into anything. It's just expanding. All the galaxies in the universe are moving away from each other, and every region of space is being stretched, but there is no center they're expanding from, and no outer edge to expand into anything else. Did I lose you?
A little bit, but that's okay. I'll think about it and be like, oh, okay, that's what he means.
Yeah, I may actually send this to you later because I read this during my lunch break and I felt like I lost an hour just like having my mind blown and then just putting it back together again because it gets deeper. But that was a short answer.
Yeah, I need to that was the short answer.
Yeah.
I need to see the words because maybe then they'll make a little bit more sense.
Yeah, and probably rereading it too. And I wish I could do impressions because I would so do an impression of Neil deGrasse Tyson reading this because his excitement over this would just be palatable. So, but that doesn't mean that the universe is infinite. That brings us to the long answer. To understand how something could be finite but have no edge, think of the fabric of the universe as the surface of a balloon. As the balloon inflates, the surface stretches and every point on that surface moves away from every other point. But a tiny being on the surface of the balloon could walk forever and never run into the edge of the balloon surface, or universe rather. There's no edge, yet the balloon universe has infinite or a finite volume. But the balloon is just one example. Scientists aren't actually sure whether the universe is finite or infinite, or even what the shape of the universe is. There are three options: spherical, flat, or hyperbolic. That is, it curves upward. Hyperbolic. Thank you. See, I didn't read this out loud. I just read it to myself. Yes. Hyperbolic. That's how I said it. Evidence from the earliest light in the universe suggests that the second option is on the money, and the universe is in fact flat. So that is the first time my brain exploded. I know, second time my brain exploded.
My brain has exploded.
I think I lost you for a little bit because your brain exploded. Even if the universe is flat and not balloon shaped, however, it's still easy to think about how it could be finite with no edge. Think about a flat piece of paper. So I don't know if you want to get a paper, at home to do this. You could take two opposing edges and make them touch, creating a cylinder. If a tiny two-dimensional rocket ship traveled from one of those edges to the other, it would arrive back where it started. You could do the same thing in the perpendicular direction. Connect the two ends of the tube together, pretend it's magically stretchy paper for the sake of argument, and create a donut shape, also known as a new word alert, torus. That is Torus.
Okay.
Now your two-dimensional rocket ship could travel anywhere it likes, and it would never encounter an edge, even though your paper torus has finite volume. But wait, you might be saying, I was not saying this. I was still kind of blown away by A, torus, and B, being able to travel without touching an edge. But wait, you might be saying, paper is flat. A torus is curved. Isn't that cheating? No. And that's because scientists have a very specific definition for the word flat. When they say flat, they mean, new word alert, Euclidean. That is Euclidean. So did I pronounce that right? Which means that parallel lines always run parallel, and the sum of the edges of a triangle is always exactly 180 degrees. That doesn't happen on a sphere or a hyperbola, but it does on a cylinder, a torus, and any other shape you can make out of a flat piece of paper. This suggests something kind of exciting. If we live in a flat universe, you could potentially travel in one direction for long enough or build a telescope that can see far enough to end up right back where you started. Even cooler things happen when you think of other weird shapes. Shapes that twist back on themselves could make you arrive back at a mirror image of where you started, for example, which probably the third or fourth time my mind blew up because, wow. But no matter what shape the universe is, it's not expanding into anything. There's nothing outside of the universe because the universe has no edge. And that's the answer to that question. Do you need a moment?
So, like, my brain is on fire and it's also imploding and exploding at the same time. And it's also just like, what? And it's also like geeking out a little bit. So I don't have much of a comment right now.
I understand.
A lot to process.
And that's why I'm going to email it to you now so you can read it later and kind of, chew on it. Maybe we'll follow up next episode. About that universe expanding thing, because it is, it took me a little while to just, like I said, to kind of process. But it explained it in ways that I understood, and I learned a couple new words that I might not necessarily work into my vocabulary, but we'll see. Or I can start calling donuts Tauruses now. So there's that.
There you go.
Kind of, because that's the shape. That's the shape of a donut. But yeah, there we have it. Yes. So that's something to chew on. And from there, from all this space travel, we will continue staying cosmic. And I think we're just going to go ahead and go into Captain Marvel because there's really no other segue I can think of to get there.
Let's do it.
Yes. So again, if you have not watched it yet, get your life together and get out there. And but yeah, if you've seen it, we'll just jump right in. And I think we'll start at the very beginning, which I immediately geeked out and teared up because the Marvel intro is one of the best tributes so far I've seen.
Oh my gosh.
Stan Lee.
Oh, yes, it was so good. Oh, it was so good. I was just like, really? Is this how we're starting, guys? Really? Okay, cool. I'm here for it.
How dare you? How
dare you? But also continue, please. Thanks.
Yes. And I wouldn't be mad if they did it for Endgame. I'm going to say that now. I don't know if they would.
I know. Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't be mad, though.
Yeah, I wouldn't be mad because that movie is working on a whole nother level. I think I saw somebody tweet out, did we even need any trailers for Endgame? And I'm like, no.
No, we didn't. And you know what? I'm glad because I do this thing where I'll watch the first trailer of a movie, Endgame, but I will choose not to watch any subsequent trailers because I don't want anything to be given away. And I've heard that nothing is given away with these newest trailers, but I still just don't want to watch. So I actually pretty glad that there were no trailers. It was different because that goes against kind of like marketing
I know,
rules, but
especially
I was
these
kind of
days. Yes.
right, especially these days. But they know that everybody who saw Infinity War is going to go see Endgame, and
Right.
maybe even some people who didn't see Infinity War for whatever crazy reason, they're gonna be there. So I was pretty, you kind of gave me a warning about that before I saw it, before I
Mm.
saw Captain Marvel, but I was just like, yeah, it is kind of noticeable that they did not hype up Endgame right before Captain Marvel. It's very interesting.
I found that very interesting as well. And it was also like I didn't mind it at all. Like,
No,
great,
because
don't.
we know they got our money already. We know
Yeah.
that.
Like for some of us, and I will admit I'm part of this camp too. This was a prequel or something that was going to set us up for Endgame. And like I definitely wanted to see this, regardless if it was connected to Endgame at all. But
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people knew it was like, okay, this is like the last puzzle piece before Endgame, because that's what we're all waiting for. How, this ends.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Literally. Haha.
Yes, exactly. And it actually was. And that's one of the ways I described it to you as well, that this felt like, a puzzle piece and things just falling into place. Like, oh, that's why
Mm-hmm.
Fury's got his eye patch
Mm-hmm.
because of a Flurkin, which I still have not looked up, just, on Wikipedia, like I do, like a nerd.
Mm-hmm.
I've not done that yet, but I will. I came from the theater, as I said earlier today, to rewatch it, and I'm like, oh, that's what I forgot to do, just to get more information of a Flurkin. Do they always, come in the shape of a cat? I don't know,
Mm.
but I will do the research. I don't need people giving me information and tweeting at me, blah 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 blah. Because sometimes I do need to tell people that. I think that was one of my pet peeves from last episode, whereas I say I don't know something, and then people start telling me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because that actually the first time that happened, it was involving Captain Marvel,
Mm-hmm.
and it was announced, and I said I don't want to know anything about Captain Marvel. I want the movie to tell me. And less than 10 minutes later, somebody tweeted like a whole backstory of who she was. I'm like,
Ugh, literally, people
reading
listening and reading are totally required in order to commune with us.
yes,
You've
please.
got to, you'll get blocked just for that. So please keep your help to yourself.
Please.
In this case.
All people, all scrolls, all Kree, please just keep it to yourself. That's also something, I'm just gonna jump around, that I liked how the scrolls weren't the bad guys. Like we've been even other lore has told us that they are the enemies. And it was so nice to see Ben Mendelsohn, who is an actor I've been really championing since Bloodline, a very melodramatic. I mean, it was dripping with drama on Netflix. It's only 3 seasons, but watch it for Ben Mendelsohn, because he's been robbed of some awards for some great acting, and he is great in this. He is the lead Skrull leader, we think is the villain, and he isn't. He's just trying to he just wants his kids back. He just wants to get to his family. So I liked that twist on that, because I was expecting him to be just a ruthless killer, but then he's got a sense of humor. I like this.
I know, that was a good twist.
It was.
It took me a while to really trust him though, because I was like, I don't know. Listen, he's a Skrull. Listen, I don't know, but
you're not wrong.
Enough,
I was too.
Yeah, sure enough, he wasn't the bad guy, and it was interesting how they changed that up for everybody. So
yes, but I liked it. I liked that. And I guess I started to suspect that Jude Law's character wasn't on the up and up, where the trusting mentor figure that he allegedly supposed started being. So, or we were led to believe. So I kind of got that inclination when he was telling Ronan. I don't know if he was at accuser level yet, but Ronan, he's telling him where, oh no, we don't know where she is, when obviously they did, because they were tracking her. So
right,
I'm like, there's something fishy going on here.
Well, the fact that he was working with Ronan too, that's pretty. I don't know, man. Ronan's a bad guy.
He is. And why is he always carrying that hammer? Has that ever been explained?
That's his thing. It's his thing. Get off get out of his pocket.
Well, I mean, it's not like, it's not like a Thor hammer or a scepter that does it have any power? I know you told me just to leave it alone, but
well, it might. I actually don't know about him. I've never seen it do anything, so I feel like it doesn't, but I'm not a comic book person, so I could be very wrong. So please do not at me.
I might accept a couple ats. Like after 2 or 3, that's the other problem I have sometimes too. I'll ask a question and then I'll get like 20 of the same answer. I'm like, okay,
got it. Thanks.
Yeah.
All right, cut. Got it.
Do we know how Twitter works? Can you like check and then you can see that it's been replied, like someone has answered the question, but I
think that's how it works, Sterling. From what I've heard, I don't know. I'm not on there every day or anything.
I don't know, because even like an hour later after the question's been asked and answered, people will still continue to answer the question as if it hasn't been answered.
Because reading is
Right. Check the replies. That's all I'm saying is just check the replies first.
Yeah, and then you can put in your 2 cents if you need to still.
Right. If it's been an hour, nobody said anything, then
go for it. Yeah. Let it rip. But otherwise, read.
Right. And I'm looking for an answer. If I'm saying don't answer this question, then don't answer the question. But yes. Anyway, Ronan the Accuser. If he's accusing, why does he have a big hammer for accusing? I don't know if I've ever seen him accuse anyone. Like, you stole the milk. So I don't know.
You have to read the comics for that. I
guess. I don't know. I'm just waiting for it in movie form for him to accuse someone or something. But yeah, he's working with Ronan the Accuser, or whatever status he's at this point, because it is the 90s. And
also, did you notice that Ronan he looked different, and I was like, he's probably a different actor. So I'm wondering, though, I didn't do the research. Do you know if it was a completely different actor?
It was the same actor.
Ronan?
Same actor.
Was it?
Yeah,
No,
Lee Pace.
No, shut up. So why did he look different? Oh, he didn't have like the black, like running eyeshadow or mascara.
May have been that. I mean, he still was super moody and just like
totally. He was
almost
definitely
no personality. Emo. So
he's really emo.
Okay, yeah.
So it's the same person though?
Same person, but you're right. He did look a little different. Maybe
I was going to say a little younger.
Yeah, younger.
He just looked younger, and he didn't have the menacing mascara, running down his cheeks like he was crying or something. So maybe that was it.
He didn't accuse as much back then, so that comes with more accusations
to his life.
Yeah, the more you accuse people, the more older you look. The more like I think he'll get like tribal tattoos. Like, I've accused 20 people today, and
so I get more tattoos.
He'd get more tattoos, and they'll just know by the look on his face, like, oh wow, you've dealt out a lot of accusations. Like, yes, I have. And so I think it's Guardians of the Galaxy, the first one. I think that's the one he's in. So I might have to go watch that one just to see, because not only that one. Oh my God, I'm blanking now suddenly. The black guy, Dejan Houston, I believe his name is. I might be pronouncing his name wrong.
I'm not sure.
But he is also in that because he is first encountering Peter Quill, and he's trying to say, "I'm Star-Lord," and he's like, "Who?" And yeah. So,
oh yeah, that's right. Oh my God, I couldn't remember which movie I saw him in, and it was Guardians. Duh. It's all
coming to you now.
Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh, it's all coming together. Jeez.
That's what
I knew that I knew him as an actor, and I knew that he was in one of the Marvel movies, but for some reason I could not place him. And I was like, okay, it'll come to me later in some form or fashion, because I'm in the middle of Captain Marvel, and that's probably why it's not coming to me.
Right.
And here we are
in that story. Right.
And oh my gosh,
it's a puzzle piece. This movie is a puzzle piece. Just
oh my gosh, thank you. You have saved me.
We get a young, fresh Coulson, before he gets, jaded.
A young, fresh Fury too.
Still happy, still singing, dancing. That happens at the end, singing some Marvelettes there. So I was gonna say a younger Stan Lee, but not really. But I mean, that was a great cameo too. That one made me.
It really was.
Yeah.
It made me kind of tear up. I was like, there it is. Oh,
he's in this one. Oh.
There he is.
And
was that really him?
It was really him. And what I really loved about it was that he was reading the script for Mallrats, which he has a cameo in that movie, which came out sometime in the 90s. I don't know if it was 95 or 96.
Okay. That's even better.
But yeah, he does have a pretty good role in that, where he does talk to one of the main characters. So him practicing his lines for that in this movie. It's so... I was going to say so meta, but I guess that works too. It's great.
Yeah.
There were some levels. The levels that cameo made just touched my nerdy heart.
It really did. And I didn't even know that about the movie, so or the other movie, Mallrats. So yeah.
I'd almost say it's worth watching, but if you are a Kevin Smith fan, if you're a Kevin Smith fan, you've already seen it. But if
Mm-hmm.
you're not, or you don't really care, I don't know. It's weird. I'm not. I think it depends on the audience. Like if you liked Clerks, if you've seen Clerks,
I
then
haven't seen it.
you'd probably like Mallrats. But yeah, he's got a special brand of humor. But I've always liked his work ethic. I actually liked his humor. I like his movies. So I think there's like one of them I haven't seen. And I actually did see Jersey Girl, and I liked Jersey Girl. And that is a hill I am going to die on. That's just
All right,
for those
I'll mark it down.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Apparently that's his worst movie, but I am here to defend it. I liked it. So that's all I'm going to say. For that, we're going to move on. What are some key moments in the movie you liked?
The one that really stands out to me, and I think this got me with one of the trailers for Captain Marvel, was the kind of the montage where it started when she was a youngin, and she fell down, and then she was like playing baseball or t-ball, and she fell down and got back up, and then she was a young person in probably boot camp, and was trying to climb the rope and fell down, and how it was just this montage of her falling down, but she kept getting back up. And so then it shows her present day where she is, one Captain Marvel, and she's dealing with I think they called it the intelligence when she's in space at this point, but she's communing with the intelligence, and how the intelligence is like, what is given to you can be taken away. You ain't your own. What are you thinking, girl? But she's like, that was her falling point, and like she tried to get out and she fell down while she was with the intelligence. And so that whole montage just really got me. I'm like, oh my gosh, how powerful is this imagery, and how awesome it is to see, like, because even like I didn't know much about or anything really about Captain Marvel before seeing the movie, and I kind of kept it that way because I wanted to watch the movie. But then I watched because I didn't know if she was human. I didn't know if she was like human plus, and we know now that she's human plus,
right?
And I just didn't really know kind of anything about her. So to see that she was still very human, and even up to a point she was just human, but like with a little extra something, and how she became human plus and really owned, was able to break free of the little implant device that they held her prisoner with, essentially, and just how she broke free from that and became actually Captain Marvel. That part, it was great. It was great because to me the beginning of the movie was a bit slow. They had a lot of character and world building to do, so sometimes that can be kind of a drag.
You're right. It can be, because it's not. Sometimes it does
action packed. Yeah, and it's just a little slower, and it was good, but it's just a little slower. But then it was worth it because of that build up. It was a slow build up in my opinion, but then when we got towards the climax and the end of the movie, it's just like, oh, this is it right here. This is worth it.
And then to see her in all her full glory, like literally, like the fact that her being human and having emotions wasn't it
wasn't a fault. It, like her trainer was saying, it actually worked for her. Just so good.
And one of the other moments is like when she was falling down to earth, and then all of a sudden she kind of like was kind of flailing around, but then she centered herself, and all of a sudden
she like let herself fall. And then she's like, okay, get it together. Oh, so good. Yeah, so good.
I got it.
So good.
The first time I saw it and I left the theater, I was feeling energized like I was her. And I think I might possibly have like a new favorite superhero character, because I don't really have too many of them. But like when I was a kid, I've always wanted powers that she has. And I never knew about her or the powers that she had. Again, it wasn't until this movie that I knew too much about her. I knew a little bit about Miss Marvel, and the only way I knew about her is because I knew about Rogue, because that's how in the comics, and I think even the first animated series, which follows the comics pretty well, but like that's how she got her powers, by I think being a little too, I was going to say too handsy with Miss Marvel, but I think she held on too long, and that's how she was able to get flight.
Oh, cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I believe so. I mean, the The person I'm thinking of that could definitely give you the story straight is Victor, who from Megashine, who's been on this podcast. Great comic book fan and geek, and can just lay it all out for you. And I believe they even had a special about Captain Marvel. I think they at least maybe had 2 special episodes, one about the movie and then one about the character. But I specifically stopped the podcast when they started talking about her because I don't want to know.
Yeah.
It had nothing to do with them. Is like, you're talking about things I don't want spoiled for me. So I'm sorry. You guys are great, but this is where I leave you. So if anything, I can go back and go and listen to it now so they can give me the whole story. But yes, that she's basically all, I don't want to say all powerful, but she's very powerful. And that's the kind of power where I can just, shoot power from my hands. I would just love to do that and just do things like that and fly. And I guess maybe even have my hair glow looking like a Super Saiyan, which I know I just jumped.
I want to do that. Oh, yes, that was so cool.
I would like to see you do that because
I could do that. I have enough hair for it.
You do. That's why I want to see it, because I'm like, I need to see all of your hair and all of its full glory. I mean, I've seen it before, but not flying, glowing like that. So that's something that I'm going to need you to encounter a Tesseract sometime soon. No, not a Tesseract. You have to be like, this sounds
energy.
terrible.
I have to like be able to harness energy itself. So I'm really working on that.
Right. Because what I almost said is like, I need you to get blown up by an engine that's powered by a Tesseract, and that's dangerous.
Yeah, I don't want to do that because I may not survive it, and I don't want to take that chance.
Well, Captain. Well, she wasn't Captain Marvel then, but like Carol survived. So,
but she's human plus. I don't know that I'm human plus, and I don't want to take that chance.
She's human plus now, but she was just a regular.
I don't know if she was regular then, because otherwise, how would she be able to sustain that? I feel like she was human plus then, and that's why she did not die when she should have blown up to pieces. But hey, that's just me. I don't know.
Yeah, we may have to consult with Victor with that one. So. Because, I thought she was just, regular human. Then the plus came from the explosion.
See, okay. So I see what you're saying. But I feel like because she is human plus, like by birth, she is able to harness the energy, and she's able to, I Wikipedia this after the movie, like during the credits, and so I was like, or Wikipedia said she's able to, oh goodness, I'll have to look it up, but like harness energy and maybe even convert it or something, and I could be wrong, but I thought it was something like that, and I'm like, okay, that's a human plus feature if you're able to do that, because otherwise normal humans will not be able to sustain that, and they'll just like disintegrate. So that's what I call human plus. I don't call it human plus after they're able to do all these cool things. Like, I feel like
or super powered.
Right. I feel like she's able to do that now, or she was able to do that, when she obtained her powers to begin with, because she's human plus.
I see what you're saying. But yeah, they'll have to follow up with that, because
we'll have to consult the experts on that though.
So yeah, we'll put a pin in that one. We'll come back to it. I wanted to check, which I just did now, and it actually did not apply. I was checking the Kent test from Clarkeisha Kent, because we had a number of people of color, but her test particularly has women of color having a conversation. So we didn't have that, just because there hasn't been. I mean, there's 2 actresses that are women of color, but they weren't in any scenes together. So her test is not.
Well, there were 3. There were 3 actresses.
Oh yes, we forgot the little girl, Monica. I'm so sorry, Monica, or the actress that plays Monica. I don't have the list, the cast list in front of me. So, I don't know if that would apply then, if it's a mother-daughter thing. I don't think it does, because they can't be related. But the other one, which I should know by heart now, when 2 women are in a scene together, as long as they're not talking about, I believe, shopping or men or love or something to that effect. And I believe it passed that test with flying colors, because there's multiple scenes with multiple women. And I mean, Cheryl doesn't even have a love interest in this movie. So
right, which is beautiful.
Yes, it was
amazing.
Very refreshing.
Yes.
She could just be her. Yes.
She'd just be. Without the need of someone to fall in love with.
Right. Although I did hear on a podcast today, which I thought was pretty interesting, is that she's also still suffering from post-traumatic stress because of the explosion, or even because of the memory loss.
That's true. Yeah.
She's still trying to find herself and know who she is. So she's got other things that she's dealing with. Not saying that keeps you from looking for love. I'm just glad that wasn't something else that was in this movie, because
yeah, that's true.
I'm kind of good. I don't really need all that. Like, I'm even that way with some sitcoms that I watch. Like, why do we have to make these couples? Why do we have to make these characters be together? Why can't they just be? And
right, they can just be. Okay, they can just be.
Yes, I don't need a will they won't they storyline or plot line in this. It's not necessary. So, but yes, I'm happy about that. With some other things, we talked about Coulson. Oh man, there's something that was just on the tip, but I don't remember what that is. I'm really glad that the Tesseract came back. So they didn't have to make up something new. It was like, oh, there's the Tesseract again. So it made me have to go research, like, how did it get there? And I think through Wikipedia, it was Howard Stark who found it at the bottom of the ocean. They, I guess, were doing tests with it. And apparently Marvel, working within not necessarily S.H.I.E.L.D., but just all of the organizations, she acquired it to do whatever testing she wanted to do with it. So apparently that's how she got it. And now, or I want to say now, but and then it ended up with S.H.I.E.L.D. proper with Nick Fury. And then we next see it in Avengers. So
I just love how some of it was kind of like, okay, but like I did not like, you know how I was wondering how they were going to tie in Captain Marvel, and so like with Fury and his eye patch was kind of like, I was okay with that. How they named the Avengers, I was all right with that. There was a couple of things which of course I can't remember right now, was like, okay. But the Tesseract, I didn't see that one, like that being an Easter egg. You know, that was pretty cool.
Right. When it was revealed that was the core, I'm like, that's the core? Oh, that's awesome.
That's so good.
Like, it's there. And then that's what made the wheels start turning. Like, wait, I thought it was at the bottom of the ocean, and then they found it at, some time in the 2000s. But then that's when I had to go do the research to find out. So I'm like, okay, it makes sense. It checks out. I mean, of course, they had to have done their homework because they're thorough like that. So, so yeah, I applaud them. They did a good job. I had fun with this movie. This was fun.
Yeah.
Like, it may not have been like earth shattering or groundbreaking as like Black Panther or I don't know. I'm trying to think of other ones that kind of, or even Infinity War, where that was just epic on another level. This was fun. I liked it. I enjoyed it. I had a good time. I went back a time.
And it was kind of a different pace than the other ones, so it was just nice. It was refreshing. I just loved it.
Yes. I will confess, during the second showing, and I know you said it was kind of slow in the beginning, I agree. I may have dozed off for a little while.
You didn't.
I did, but
I'm so ashamed.
I'm a little ashamed too, but it wasn't very long. It was maybe 2-minute naps, at least 3 of them. But but understand, I worked hard today. It was a long day at work, and then I come into a couch in a dark room, and then I just fade away.
Is that what you did? Poop.
Yeah, that's kind of what happened. And then I just go, oh my god! And because the second time I missed the cameo, I missed Stan Lee's cameo. I actually missed quite a bit. Now I think about it, I may have missed maybe like a half an hour, 45 minutes. It is a 2-hour movie, so there's quite a bit. But the fact that I've seen it already, I know what I missed, so it's all good. It's all good. I only fell asleep because I was tired from work, not because of the movie. There's many other movies that I wish I had fallen asleep on. I'm looking at you, Medea. So that's all I'll say. Not the new one. I've heard the Medea family funeral is terrible. So that's just what I heard. And that's from other fellow Black folk, just not, some regular people. So not that I had an interest in seeing it. I'm just saying, I'm just saying. So that's all I got to say. I did like the both end credits. The first one, of course, being that exact lead up, like right there to Endgame. Wondering if, as soon as he paged her, it just took her a little while to travel.
Right.
I know you haven't seen it yet, like until you go back to watch it again, but her suit has changed a little bit. So,
okay, because I remember you saying something about that.
right. And her hair is a little different too, but like on her suit,
It
she's got
is.
like a couple more patches or stripes of gold.
Okay,
So
good to know.
and she is present in the new trailer that you haven't seen, but that's okay. I'm just saying that she's there since it's out there. But you're not missing anything still, so you're good.
Okay. But she does look different, right? She looks her person looks different.
She does. She doesn't look like she aged much, and I'm thinking maybe that's like just the tesseract. But yeah, the power within her just maybe
yeah, okay.
Keeping her young and strong.
How about it?
Yeah. So I think that is doing it, and I'm wondering if maybe the hair looking a little
flatter.
Like, flatter, like there's
less
flatter.
color.
There's little streaks in it a little bit. I thought. I thought maybe that's because of space travel, the gamma rays she probably flies through, and
sure.
the things you encounter when you're in space.
When you're in space with no like protective gear,
right?
Or a little protective gear.
Yeah, or you got that aura just around you all the time. To that's all you have. So. Right. You get really close to some of the stars in the sun, so of course it's going to bleach your hair a little bit and straighten
obviously
it.
Right?
Yeah, so that's going to happen when you've got power sourcing or just surging. That's the word I'm looking for. Surging throughout your body and your hair, making it fly and everything. So yeah, that's going to happen. So there's that scene of just her appearing and like, where's Fury? And I'm like, yes, where's Fury? Find out.
Where is he?
Yes.
Oh well, she don't know yet.
Right, she doesn't know yet. So I'm excited. Then we have the very last one, which I felt was really good. Like I got a good chuckle out of it because sometimes it could be hit or miss. Of Goose,
yes,
regurgitating the Tesseract on Fury's desk, like it was not a big deal, and I thought it was pretty funny.
great.
So, yeah, then cut to black. So I'm like, well done, Marvel, you did it again. I didn't stay around this time, the second time, because I knew what it was. And I'm like, let me just get out of here now. Not that I was gonna fall asleep. I was wide awake by then. I had a pretty good nap, so yeah, it was good to go. So yeah, that was Captain Marvel. Definitely worth seeing a second time, third time, maybe after a nap, so that we don't miss anything, like certain people that we know, or have snacks, something to help you stay awake if you come right out of work. So
right.
Yeah, I think that recommended, definitely. So, do you have any not necessarily Captain Marvel thoughts, but just general thoughts? Anything you just to close, to wrap up?
Well, just check me out and at me at IMKHinton on the Twitters, and we can talk in detail about Captain Marvel's hair and other things that we noticed in the movie, obviously, than her physique. So
right, other things we may have missed out.
Yeah,
because I mean it's great. Oh my goodness, we didn't even talk about Maria Rambeau at all. We didn't even mention her name.
Let's mention her name. Maria and Monica flippin' Rambeau.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, she flew that jet in and out of space around. Someone described that scene when she was around in the mountains as pod racing from from Star Wars. I actually thought of a different Star Wars reference. I thought of Luke blowing up the Death Star because that seems similar to me that way, but still. She owned that ship, so
she did, and got them there and back safely.
Exactly. So she did not just play sidekick. She had her own.
She did the thing. She
really
did.
She did. So kudos to her, and I cannot wait to see because Endgame will take place now. Monica is probably an adult now. That's what we're waiting for, to see what happens. I know Captain Marvel, Carol Danvers probably still needs like maybe one more movie before she might share the mantle or pass on the mantle. But it wouldn't be that bad because they're already, friends and connected to their family already. So it's all in the family. So for her to pass it down, I just want to see how Monica will get her powers because she's here. We know she's here. So we do. That's something to look forward to. I just don't know when, but yeah. Okay. Now we can wrap it up. I would feel remiss. I would feel horrible if we did not talk about Maria and or Monica. So we got them in there. Okay. So that does it for the Indu podcast. You can follow me on all things Indu or at Indube. Go to indube.com to find the Patreon, subscribe for more perks, and find my TeePublic store. By the way, I got a great idea for a 100th episode t-shirt. So keep a lookout for that. I have not even designed it yet. I'm still designing it in my head. But
nice.
I'm hoping maybe I'll wear it that night. We'll see. Please rate, comment, and share the pod on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Google Play, Spotify, and Podbean. Thank you so much for supporting, listening, stopping by, and pressing play. Tell someone you value that you value them, and live for the folks you love. I've been your benevolent host, T. Sterling Watson. And remember, if the world didn't suck, we'd all fall off.
No!
Excelsior!
Times 5, apparently.
Yes. The Indube Podcast is recorded in a studio somewhere on planet Earth. The Indube Podcast is part of the Indube Network. And if you'd like to get in contact with the Indube Podcast, please email indubepod@gmail.com. That is indubepod@gmail.com. You can find the Indube Podcast on Apple Podcast, Stitcher, Google Play, and of course Podbean, or wherever podcasts may be procured. If you'd like to find out more information, please visit indube.com, where you can find our store, the blog, and of course our Patreon, if you'd like to support and donate and find more perks and fun things to listen to and watch. For Chief, DJ Joe Daddy, Bilford, this is T. Sterling Watson signing off. Thank you so much for listening. Use your words, Chief. Good boy. This has been another 3SFX production.